What up? What up? Welcome to From Beyond The Paign, an Illinois basketball podcast. We got a lot to talk about tonight, folks. So welcome in. If you just seeing this on Twitter, I put the link in the caption to the YouTube channel. Please come to the YouTube channel. You can watch on Twitter, I don't care, but please come to the YouTube channel. If you're on my Facebook page, thanks for hanging out, but please come to my YouTube channel. Just search my name. You'll find it. This is an Illinois basketball podcast. If you're new here, so hit the subscribe button, hit the like button for me. I'd really appreciate it. Especially if you hit the like button, because if you do that, it spreads it to other Illinois fans, Illinois basketball fans out there who might be interested. And we got a doozy tonight, so I won't push that down your throat any longer, but I just want to emphasize that it is pretty important. So anyway, if you're a supporter, I appreciate you. I've gotten a lot of good feedback from the start of doing this over the last couple months, and I really appreciate it. So just want to emphasize that because it means a lot. We're up to almost 250 subscribers. I had less than 150 about 3 months ago. So, we're growing slow and steady. Can't put up a video every single day. Would probably move a lot faster if I could, but this is just a part-time thing, and mainly just because I am obsessed with Illinois basketball. So if you're a diehard for Illinois basketball, you're in the right spot. So again, that's my spiel. Appreciate y'all for hanging out. Hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. But let's start at the top, right? Illinois and Michigan State, they play tomorrow. We'll get to that. That'll be the second half of the show. First half, we're going to talk about Terrence Shannon Jr. He the letter that he sent or that he gave to was it like the 3-person panel or whatever to try and I don't know, not to avoid the suspension, to get the suspension removed. It was put out. I saw the News Gazette in Champaign put it out. I was it's on Illini Acquire as well. You can pretty much find it anywhere if you haven't read it. And so I'll get to that, but I do also want to mention probably the biggest news is that the biggest thing related to Terrence Shannon Jr. is coming on Friday. All right. Shannon and his legal team have filed a temporary restraining order against the University of Illinois Board of Trustees. And when I first heard all this, the way it's worded, because I don't know, I don't have the legal knowledge. And that's why I've tried to just kind of avoid putting out any take on this situation, because I'm just not smart enough and I don't want to say the wrong thing. But I am reading this straight from Illini Inquirer. So him and his legal team have filed a temporary restraining order against the University of Illinois Board of Trustees to allow him to return to play with Illinois' basketball program immediately. That hearing will take place at 1:30 on Friday in the U.S. District Court for the Central District of Illinois. So basically all it comes down to, if the court rules in favor of Shannon, he'll be eligible to return to the team. He's missed 4 games to this point. And yeah, so obviously, if you don't know, if you've definitely been under a rock, he's currently suspended because, after he got charged with rape due to an incident out in Kansas after the Kansas-Illinois football game back in September. So it came out this week that a 3-person panel last week voted to uphold Shannon's suspension until charges are resolved, which means until the case is over, which basically would, is going to be long past college basketball season, long past the NBA draft, long past God knows when. You know how long this process can possibly take. It can take a long time. So when I first learned the news that he filed this temporary restraining order, my first thought was, I wonder if Illinois or Josh Whitman someone in the athletic program. I would assume Josh Whitman. The way that the way that Illinois is putting this out to the media, Brad Underwood, everyone on the team, they have no say. They anytime Brad Underwood is asked a question related to Terrence Shannon Jr., it's that he's focused on whatever team they're playing next. It's not his job, blah, blah, blah. So they have basically set it up to where he's not giving out any information. I lean to believe that this is Josh Whitman. And again, this is more of a, I guess you could call it a take or an opinion. I believe that Illinois is encouraging Terrence Shannon Jr. to do this because I believe at this point that the university believes that he is innocent. That's what I think. I'm not stating it as fact. I'm not stating it as, he's innocent and all this. I believe that the university believes this, or else I don't think that Josh Whitman would say the things that he has said related to Terrence Shannon Jr. So that's just my 2 cents on this news coming out this week. There's no way you can tell if there's no pure full evidence to prove that. I just think that's what I believe. I believe they think he's innocent. So we're going to go to this court hearing and we're going to see if they're going to remove this suspension and see if he can come back and play, I guess. I'm not really going to move myself off the take of he's probably not going to play the rest of the year because this could surely go the other way, right? But who knows? Who knows? And I am interested to find out if this, if say he does get this suspension removed, I'm interested to see how this affects the team going forward. Because you just know that, especially on the road, you know how fan bases are in college sports, man. I am curious to how the team reacts to that type of stuff. I'm curious to how questions will be asked to Brad Underwood. I'm just curious to how much of a distraction it could be. That's where I'm at with it. I don't know. This is such a messed up situation. I said on a previous podcast that I'm sad about the situation, and I am sad about the situation because no matter what, there's someone going through some sort of trauma or pain, whether it's this victim or whether, it's the other way around of him being innocent and him being falsely accused of something. I'm not saying one or the other. I'm just saying that no matter what, that someone is being severely hurt here. And I just hope the truth comes out and the right person is charged or, whatever. You get what I'm trying to say, I think. So I wanted to go through the letter that he gave to this panel. Let me bring it up. I was, it was everything that I kind of expected, but it did give a little bit more insight on the situation, at least from his view. It's a letter from his point of view. All right. He goes in detail, a little bit of detail on the night in Lawrence, Kansas. So here's how the start of it goes. On September 8th, 2023, I went to Lawrence, Kansas for a Kansas-Illinois football game with an Illini grad assistant and fellow teammate. After the game, we went out in Lawrence with some friends who go to KU. We stayed out at a jam-packed Jayhawk Cafe for the evening with a group of friends. My travel partners were with me at the Jayhawk Cafe for the entire evening. As As to the criminal charges against me, I am declaring my innocence as I did back in September. I have totally cooperated with that process and will continue to do so. While I appreciate my lawyers and their ability to fight the case in court, I know that the criminal justice system takes time. So my day in court will not come about for a long time, most likely long after the NBA draft, and I may not be cleared of the charges until it's too late. The harm that I will suffer from an immediate suspension can never be undone, and I will never have this opportunity to further my collegiate career or fulfill my lifelong dream to play in the NBA. Going forward, I want nothing more than to play basketball for the University of Illinois and remain hopeful that my due process rights will be honored and allow for a full reinstatement while this case is pending. That's the start. So he, basically sets the scene, the setting of where it's at. And I've seen a lot of rumors on Illini Twitter. I've seen a lot of people putting out little tidbits. I got people in my DMs sending me screenshots of whatever. And I don't know where any of that shit's coming from. So I just have chosen to not really interact with it. Just say, like, this is interesting. We'll keep this in the back of my head and we'll go forward. But a lot of this, of what he said, is what a lot of stuff that people sent me about the setting and stuff like that. So, he goes on. And again, this is him basically saying why he is innocent. And he goes into like his family history, how almost all his NIL money goes to his mom. And he pays for the rent, food, and other necessities, and stuff like that. Yeah, I invite people to go read this. It's interesting just because it's the first time we've got to hear from him since all this news came out. And I'm just going to say this because this is how I feel. Again, I'm not trying to sway you one way or the other. If you think he's guilty, fine. If you think he's innocent, fine. But from what I read from this and from all the news that has come out this week, besides from the information that has come out, I have started to lean towards the thought that he is innocent. That's just how it feels to me. That's not me with being some Illini fan with bias. I'm just going based off what we are being fed. Okay. So I see someone in the chat, the Happy Hermit. He says another channel showed transcripts from the questioning of the plaintiff. Yes. And I've seen some of that also on Illini Twitter. I want to say Cedric Prince tweeted some document out a few days ago. I'll go to it right now. All of it so much information came out so fast that I was like trying to go through everything chronologically and was just really confused for a lot of it. So if I'm wrong on some things, you guys can go ahead and correct me. But anyway, 2 days ago, Cedric Prince tweeted out, it's in the caption, it says, here's a sample regarding Terrence Shannon Jr.'s case. More will be at IlliniGuys.com. And it's just like a screenshot of, the victim going through all this information. Starts with the alleged incident occurred in a very crowded bar, yet there are no witnesses to the alleged incident, which allegedly occurred while the accused had another female in one of his arms at the same time as the alleged incident. The complainant's friend who accompanied her in the bar during the alleged incident did not witness the alleged incident. I think one of the you can go through this and you can go to his Twitter and read it yourself. And I'm sure if you're watching this, you probably have, because this came out 2 days ago. I found it interesting that the victim, after the alleged incident, her and her friend did not immediately leave the bar, nor did nor did her or her friend notify bar management or security or the police at the time after it. I find it interesting that happened, that didn't happen, and then they went home and they performed multiple internet searches, such as Kansas State basketball roster, University of Kansas basketball and football teams, and University of Illinois football and basketball teams. It did say that she performed internet searches related to sexual assault state federal crime definitions. So I don't know. But it was interesting to me. I'll go as far as that. I think that's basically all I have. I'm just trying to give out the information out there just in case no one really knows, or just kind of talk through it. I guess I have told y'all my thoughts. Perhaps he could come back if, this hearing Friday works out in his favor. Perhaps he could. Will it be a distraction? I can't sit here and confidently tell you that it won't be a distraction. And I don't know if that will be a pro or con for this team. I lean that it would be a con. Will it make the team better? Absolutely. The guy was en route to be an All-American this year. He was a top 5 player in college basketball. Perhaps things will go back to how they were before all this stuff came out. I don't know. They're an older team, as Brad Underwood puts it, a very connected team. Will they do this whole Illinois against the world type thing? Personally, I hope not, because this is such a serious thing. To me, it's just like, go out, play the games, and just take care of business. That's all I'd really want to see if he does get reinstated and comes back. So, it just brings me back to the fact that this entire situation just sucks for everyone, whether you're a fan of Illinois basketball or if you're the victim in this case, if what he did is in fact true, stuff like that. Someone is getting hurt here one way or another, and it sucks. So I hope that no one is pissed off at me now. I think that's the thing. It's a very tough situation. I've never, in the 2 years that I have done CHGO Cubs, I have never had to talk about anything related remotely close to this. So it's been very hard for me to do this. So I appreciate y'all for hanging around and at least walking through it with me. So anyway, my guy Chi-Town Custom Cornhole Boards says her friend didn't witness any of this. Also strange that they didn't ask any of Terrence Shannon Jr.'s friends any questions regarding the incident. Small town fishy. Yeah. I personally lean right now that he is innocent in this matter, but what I think doesn't matter. So I just hope that things work out. All right. We're about 19 minutes into the show. We got 24 people watching on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit the like button. I appreciate y'all. Let's get to the game. Tomorrow night, Illinois, Michigan State. Illinois has won the last 3 matchups between Tom Izzo's Spartans. I was looking this up, actually. The all-time record is Illinois is 63-64 against Michigan State. I was just curious about that. I didn't know. They've been playing against since 1951. Did not know. But anyway. What's up, Chris? I see you in the chat. He says, look, all respect to the women, but she's just doing it for the money, in my opinion. All right. Well, that's your opinion, brother. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. Anyway, Illinois, Michigan State tomorrow. Illinois won the last 3. They played 2 of the last 3 in Champaign. This one is in Champaign tomorrow. Illinois looking to bounce back after the tough, brutal loss to Purdue Purdue, who just lost to Nebraska yesterday. Michigan State, who just lost to Northwestern on Sunday. So Michigan State looking to bounce back, and Illinois has a chance to gain to jump ahead of Purdue, or at least gain some ground on Purdue, right? Listen, Wisconsin beat Ohio State tonight, so they are still the only undefeated team left in the Big Ten. They are now 4-0 in the Big Ten. And their schedule is very easy moving forward. I just tweeted it before the show started. Wisconsin has Northwestern. They go to Penn State, home against Indiana. They go to Minnesota, and then they're home against Michigan State. The hardest team in there right now, probably Michigan State. I feel like Minnesota they can be a little scrappy. I mean, they beat Michigan, but that doesn't mean anything. Michigan stinks. They're bad, bro. They lost 4 in a row. Juwan Howard, I hope he's still coaching Michigan whenever they link up with Illinois on the 18th. But Wisconsin's schedule for the next 5 games is easy. It's very easy. So Illinois needs to win tomorrow if they plan on winning the Big Ten. If they plan on being in the top 2 or top 3 of the Big Ten, they need to win tomorrow, man. They're better than Michigan State. Michigan State has been up and down. That team at its peak beat Baylor, number 6 Baylor at the time, but they also they've been kind of a disappointment. They were a top 5 team, a ranked top 5 team coming into the year. They're not even ranked right now. I'm scared in some aspects because they're coming off a loss. And no matter what, Tom Izzo, great coach. He's going to have these guys ready to play. And he knows they've lost 3 in a row to Illinois over the last 3 years, right? So I mentioned Wisconsin just because they need to maintain pace with Wisconsin. I can't believe I'm saying it, but they do. They do. So that's where I'm at. They need to win tomorrow. Tomorrow's a must-win game, in my opinion. I said, what was it? After the win against Mizzou, the next 5 games, I asked to go 4-1. Right now, they're 2-1. They beat Fairleigh Dickinson. They beat Northwestern. They lost to Purdue. I think they can beat Michigan State, and I think they can beat Maryland. I definitely feel a lot better against them against Maryland than I do Michigan State. But if you ask me to choose, at least, but I think they can easily win these 2 and go 4-1 in this 5-game stretch that I talked about a handful of shows before. But Illinois has 1 loss in the conference, obviously, to Purdue. So they need to maintain pace, right? They're right there, right behind Wisconsin. Wisconsin, who knows? They might lose one of these. I hope they do. It'll be tough against Northwestern, but Northwestern can't win on the road. Penn State, scrappy, but probably going to finish the bottom of the Big Ten. Indiana, what is Indiana? Didn't they just lose to Rutgers the other night? I'm just like, they call themselves a blue blood, and it's actually kind of a disgrace, folks. It's a disgrace. And Minnesota, again, bottom of the Big Ten, bottom of the barrel. I like their coach, but they're just not there. So that leaves Michigan State, and that's the last game of their next 5 games. So they're 4-0 right now. They could easily be 8-0 by the end of the month in conference. So Illinois got to maintain pace, man. Lazy Force Gump in the chat. He says, I think Illinois could next 6 are all wins. Well, let's look at Illinois' schedule. I can jump on that Kool-Aid. I mean, shit. Don't let me talk myself into only losing 1 conference game. Don't let me talk myself into it, brother. Next 6 for Illinois. All right, you got Michigan State tomorrow at home. At home against Maryland on Sunday. Then you go to Michigan on January 18th. Michigan, like I said, awful. Juwan Howard, I hope he keeps his job. He's that bad. So that's 3 games. They're at home against Rutgers, a team that they have already pounded, and they will have at home this time. They go to Northwestern. That will be tough. Northwestern has been very tough at home. They're a complete different team at home compared to on the road. Also, they'll have revenge on their mind after getting pounded by Illinois just a few weeks ago. So that one, I think, will be tough. And then to close out that sixth that you mentioned, Lazy Forrest Gump, Indiana comes to Champaign on January 27th. Will be a good game. It's a rivalry game. I expect Indiana to give their best effort. But yes, obviously, I do think Illinois should win all 6 of those. Honestly, I really do. So I'm with you. I think 2 of those 4 will be tough and very tough, at least. One of them being on the road, even though it's in state and there will be plenty of Illini fans there. But I have not forgot about the game at Northwestern last year. It was a very tough environment, and Illinois sucked. They really sucked in that game. So maybe Illinois will have their own revenge going there. So we'll see. But no, I like your thought process behind it. I hope that comes to fruition. I really do. I was reading Illini Inquirer earlier, and it was Jeremy Werner's notebook. If I could find my Google Chrome app tab, where the fuck is it? There, just search it. There we go. Here we go. This is great radio. They were talking. He was talking about this game, obviously. What was it? Here it is. Holding home court. Home court has been friendly to Big Ten teams this season against conference opponents. The Big Ten is 21-6 at home in the very early part of conference play. Purdue lost on the road to Northwestern and Nebraska, which says a lot about home court advantage, honestly, in this conference. I guess it all comes down to say that Illinois needs to win their home games, right? So he continues, he mentions this, and this is a very good nugget. Illinois is 32-8 over the last 4 years at home in Big Ten games. 8-2 in each of the last 4 seasons at home each season. So this is setting up for Illinois to bounce back in a big way, I think. Okay. Chi-Town Cornhole, MSU being 1-3 in conference play is a little scary. If they win tomorrow night, I believe they'll win the next 4. Yeah, no, I still believe Michigan State is going to be something to watch out for. You know how Tom Izzo teams work. That's the only thing that really scares me is like I just know Michigan State. And they know they've lost 3 straight to Illinois. One might say they're due. I hope not this time. So, but anyway, 8-2 over the last 4 years at home in Big Ten games, going 8-2 each of the last 4 seasons. That's very impressive for Brad Underwood and company. And I hope that trend continues tomorrow night against the Spartans, folks. Some injury notes. Brad Underwood said today that Nicolo, I think that's how you say his name, Nicolo Moretti, he has a foot injury, and Amani Hansberry, who's been having back spasms, will be game time decisions. Moretti specifically hasn't played like the last 9 games. So I think I've thought about it since the Purdue loss. I've thought about it more and more. I think if Moretti was healthy and he could have played in that game, I think that game might have gone different. I don't think Brad Underwood would have left Ty Rodgers out there as long as he did. He just did not have any trust in DGL. That's how I feel. They've really, in some aspects, missed Moretti a lot. I think if Moretti is healthy the next time they play Purdue, it could be a huge X factor for Illinois. So him being game time decision for tomorrow night's game is huge. I hope he can play. I think he can be a key piece to this team. He last played against Southern on November 19th. So he's going to have some rust. I expect some rust if he does play. But yeah, I would like to see him get some run. He said related to Moretti. I think yes, I think I'm quoting this correctly. Quote, I think he has a meeting with a doctor tonight or tomorrow. He's looked really good and he's been really solid in practice. Until we get the final, I would think it's probably a game time decision based on what the doctors say and another day in practice. So, everyone pray for Moretti's foot tonight. All right. Get on your knees, little thoughts and prayers. We will all give ourselves credit tomorrow during the live stream or the watch along. So, what's up, S. Baptist? I see you. Yeah, MSU always has a slow start and goes on a run. Yes, it's the most annoying thing ever, but Tom Izzo is Tom Izzo. Lazy Forrest Gump. In the final 3 games of the season, Whiskey, Illini, and Purdue Wisconsin, Illini, and Purdue all play each other. This will go to the wire. Yeah, probably will. And again, I think Purdue having those two losses against Nebraska and Northwestern are huge. One, because Illinois already beat Northwestern, and they're going to have to play Nebraska. And I've said on this podcast that Nebraska is a team to watch out for. So I almost bet Nebraska to cover. I think they were like 6.5-point dogs at home, and for that game, I almost did it, but I bet them the game before. I think they went and played Wisconsin actually, and they did not cover. They did not play well. So it's a very impressive win for Fred Hoiberg and the Nebraska Cornhuskers. I know they're a football school, but maybe they're transforming to a basketball school this year and beyond. I've always thought Fred Hoiberg was a good college basketball coach. He did very well at Iowa State. It's taken some time for him to, start to build something at Nebraska, but who knows? I don't know if they're a tournament team, but I just think they are definitely a lot better than what we've seen these last handful of years. They've definitely been very impressive this year. So, another injury note, Quincy Guerrier not expected to miss any time, which is big news. Big news, because remember, he had that wrist injury, and he was able to shoot those free throws after that, that, I guess, hard foul that he took at the end of that game against Purdue, but no lingering effects. He's going to play tomorrow. So, again, everyone seems pretty healthy. Everyone, knock on wood, everyone send some thoughts and prayers to Moretti's foot. We all need it, all right? We need all hands on deck. They need to win tomorrow. That's where I'm at. They need to win tomorrow, folks. I asked for over this 5-game stretch to go 4-1. They're 2-1 right now. You got Michigan State and Maryland coming up, both at home. They should win these games. They need to win these games. You win these games, this is how you win a Big Ten title. All right. So, and especially with, like I said, I mentioned Wisconsin's upcoming schedule. It's going to be very tough. So, should be a good one at State Farm Center. I'm trying to figure out which game I'm going to go to in Champaign this year. I have yet to go to a game. I went to that game in Tennessee because I was at the winter meetings for work. I was in Nashville, and then I had a buddy who lives in Knoxville who just drove 3 hours and picked me up, and we went to that game. That's how I was able to go to that game. But I haven't been to Champaign this year, and I want to go to a game. They posted a graphic the other day. Bunch of games already sold out. I asked one of my buddies who's a season ticket holder if he has an extra ticket for the Indiana game. I'd like to go to that one. But he said I'm basically on a wait and see thing. So I'm imagining I'm probably not going to be able to get a ticket. But so maybe I have to go on the underground market or whatever, resale market and find a ticket, because I got to get to Champaign to see this team play at least once this year. I have to. I absolutely have to. They, despite all this distractions and can I even call it a distraction without it being somewhat like offensive? I don't know. But all of this off the court stuff, it's really unfortunate because this team's been really fun to watch. So yeah. Yes, Stroob. They're on StubHub and SeatGeek. I'm probably gonna buy one. I was just hoping to get one at a retail price. That's the thing. That's what I want. If anyone knows anyone who might have a ticket for the Indiana game this month, let me know. So any final thoughts? Any final thoughts from anyone in the chat? I am willing to take some questions. Overall, I feel pretty confident going into this game tomorrow. It's take care of business, man. This team has shown that they can win on the road. They've shown they can win at home, especially this year. This is the bounce back game. This is the bounce back game. This is winning these games are why Illini fans like you and I sit on the internet and talk about how Brad Underwood has more wins than anyone else in the Big Ten the last 4 years. He just does well in these types of games. The winnable games, the ones you're supposed to win. So, yeah. Baptist in the chat. Butler is about to upset Marquette. All these upsets have me nervous. I took Butler plus 12 tonight. Let's go. Butler's good. I never thought they should have been 12-point underdogs. That's for sure. Marquette, they've been up and down. They've had some good wins. They also have some bad losses. They lost to Seton Hall this weekend. Also, the Big East is just – I feel like the Big East is like the Big Ten the last handful of years. Just like an absolute gauntlet. Everyone beats up on each other. So I wouldn't take anything too much into it. Illinois doesn't have a bad loss on the schedule. I think that's something that we haven't talked a lot or enough about. They lost to Marquette and they've lost to Tennessee. Honestly, they easily could have beat Marquette. That came down to the wire basically. They played 30 good minutes against Tennessee and fell apart on the road at an SEC school. Can't fault them there. Too much at least. Would have loved to win that game. Would have been electric. I would have stomped all over the Volunteers fans' hearts. But yeah. Oh, and also they lost to Purdue. That's not even a bad loss. They should have definitely lost by double digits in that game. To only lose by 5, considering what happened. Or considering how that team, how Illinois played that night, you take that as a win, a moral victory. As much as I don't like it, it's just it is a fact. They played as well as they played very well they lost by a deficit that makes you scratch your head like, how did we end up here? But I look forward to that game against Purdue come March. So, let's see. Lazy Forrest Gump says, do you know if Damask got a medical red shirt the season he played 10 games? If so, he'd have another season. I am not sure about that. Speaking of Damask, he got named Big Ten Player of the Week this week, right? He's going to be key tomorrow, right? Like the fact that I haven't really mentioned him on this show is pretty funny. Also, speaking of Twitter, did anyone else see Coleman Hawkins's tweet last night? I mean, he tweeted that video of like the Joker laughing or whatever. It's like an animated version of the Joker, and it tweeted it right after Purdue lost. Oh God. I think I was listening to Sleepers. Most of you probably know what Sleepers is, the Sleepers Media, and they were talking about they had like their own post game, and obviously they are a lot more tucked in with covering college basketball and know more people in the media than I do related to this particular sport. But they were talking about Coleman Hawkins and how like his antics on the court need to stop, like him jumping around complaining like when he doesn't get foul calls or when he gets called for a foul and stuff like that. And it's just like, I don't know. I don't really have an opinion. Like emotions are high in a road environment. You want to call that a rivalry game or not? I don't particularly call it a rivalry game. It was an important game. And, you know, Indiana borders Illinois. It's not a far drive to West Lafayette from Champaign. Like in some aspects you can say it is, I guess, but it's not like when they play IU or when they play Iowa, in my opinion. So, whatever. Someone in the chat also said, and National Player of the Week. Yes, you're right. Marcus Damask was the Associated Press Player of the Week and the National Player of the Week, the Oscar Robertson National Player of the Week. On top of the Big Ten Player of the Week. So hell of a week for Marcus Damask. He was 75% of the reason they were in that. 75% of the reason they were in the game against Purdue, and about 85% of the reason they beat Northwestern the way they did. Let's see. I see some of you sending Cubs questions now. Let's see. What other comments? DeMarcus Cousins, how do you Shota Imanaga coming to Cubs? I love it, man. Go watch the show. Go CHGO Cubs. Go to CHGO Sports YouTube channel. Got all kinds of content about it. Cody, how do you feel about Shota Imanaga coming to the Cubs? Oh, man. I'm ecstatic about it, brother. Knights Templar, ILL, and go Cubs. Glad we have Imanaga. Hell yeah. I, brother. All right. I think we'll end the show there. I appreciate y'all. I will be at Cubs convention this weekend. Thankfully, Illinois and Maryland play on Sunday, guys. Because if they were playing Saturday or Friday, I wasn't going to be able to do any of this. I simply just was not going to be able to do any of this. So thank you, Illinois, for scheduling the game against Maryland on Sunday. So we have a very packed 4 days coming up. Tomorrow, Illinois and Michigan State. Then I go to Cubs convention on Friday and Saturday. And then Illinois, Maryland on Sunday. A sports-packed weekend, folks. This is what I live for. This is why I do what I do. I'm so excited about it. Now, hopefully Illinois wins both games, and perhaps when I show up to Cubs convention, Cody Bellinger is there. Or maybe the Cubs just make another move, right? So, yes. Lake Forest Gump says this might be the Dane game. Well, he's got to get some minutes, man. He's got to get some minutes. Yeah, he's not even getting 10 minutes a game. But someone's got to guard Sonogo. Michigan State has really good guards. Tyson Walker is obviously the one most people know. So, but they don't have a Zach Edey. So I think Illinois can play small and play fast like they have been against other teams. So, yeah. S. Baptist is asking, you have a time to live stream the game? Yes. What time's the game tomorrow? I haven't even looked. It's tomorrow night, obviously. But we'll start the live stream up probably about 10 minutes beforehand here on my YouTube channel. So I got us research. Here we go. 8 p.m. They play at 8 p.m. tomorrow. 9 p.m., I guess, if you're on the East Coast like S. Baptist. But, 8 p.m. Central Time on FS1 tomorrow, Illinois, Michigan State. I will be live probably, they say 8 p.m., but knowing there will be other games tomorrow, they probably won't start until 8:15. So we'll monitor it. We'll be live at 8 p.m., 8:05, something like that. So, that's when I will be back. We'll do the live stream, the watch along, and then we'll do post game right after. So come hang out, tell your friends. If that's all I can say is tell your friends. Please hit the subscribe button on my YouTube channel. That's where I want all y'all to mainly come if you want a personal preference. But so anyway, I appreciate y'all for hanging out tonight. Kind of a long day for me. So I still wanted to do this, and that's telling because this Illinois team is fun. So, and that's why I wanted to do this. So I had to check in with y'all tonight. I will see you all tomorrow. Lazy Forrest Gump. Let's get those dubs. ILL. I, brother. All right. So I will see y'all tomorrow. Hit that like, subscribe button on my YouTube channel. And let's get this win tomorrow, man. Tom Izzo. I don't care. Hall of Famer. What? I don't care. It's Daddy Brad, baby. It's Daddy Brad's conference. All right. Don't clip that and send that to him, please. We don't need any extra bulletin board material for him. All right. All right. As always, guys, thank you for watching, and ILL.